What is my favorite social media channel and why? I think my favorite channel has to be Twitter because I love the constant stream of conversation. I always find the best articles on Twitter, and I always feel like I'm really connected when I'm on Twitter. It makes me feel very much in the know and a little bit like I'm smarter. So I'm definitely a fan. I definitely don't tweet as much as I should. I tend to be a listener, but Twitter is probably my favorite.
What is my social media channel of choice and why? I'd have to say Twitter because it is now, it is current. You can get all of the breaking news your heart desires on it, so that would be my social media channel of choice.
My social media channel of choice is undoubtedly Twitter. I love Twitter. It's okay, maybe it's LinkedIn is the second close, but I'm still going with Twitter. I must have a network of over 5,000 to 6,000 HR recruiter career type professionals, and the way that you can so rapidly share information and trends is just amazing. I'm all over it. It even auto scrolls. What more could you ask?
What is my social media channel of choice? This is a good one because I like them all. So I don't even know where to start. I could say good things about all of them. So let's just say that Facebook is great because my family is on it. So I really love connecting with my extended family who doesn't live around here. And that's pretty much the only social media that they can figure out how to use. So I always see my grandmother and everyone on there. Tumblr's great because I feel like I get a lot of traffic to my blog from hashtags and stuff gets reblogged there. So Tumblr is definitely a very good, I guess it depends on your demographic. I think if you've got like a younger demographic, it works well, like 15 to 25. Pinterest is nice just because 75 to 95% of it is great visually, so I can always snag a great picture on Pinterest. I don't really have to go through too much crap like Google Images. It's not always the best images, but I think Pinterest has a lot of good selection as far as quality pictures go. But I'm going to go with Twitter for my number one just because it's so short and ADD friendly, and you can just go, go, go real fast. It's like an ongoing crazy chat room full of ridiculous people that I love so much. Every time I'm on Twitter, I sometimes get into these conversations with people, and I just love it. So it's up to date all the time. If there's any breaking news or anything going on globally, I always hear about it first immediately through Twitter. And I've connected with so many other bloggers and social media people, and made just great connections, great networking. So I would say Twitter for sure. Love that bluebird.
What fictional character do I wish was a blogger? Well, this is a really tough question because I think any fictional character would be really interesting to read. But I think if blogging was around during the 1960s, I would love to read anything written by the characters from Mad Men. I think Don and Peggy and Joan would have the best blogs, and Betty's blog would be the one that you would love to hate. So I think definitely those would be very interesting.
What fictional character do I wish was a blogger? Probably either Dwight Schrute because he's hilarious, and I think that would be really funny to read, or perhaps like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz because I think she would have a really interesting story to tell. Um, yeah, I think those two would be pretty interesting.
I would like to see the robot from Lost in Space blog. The robot is really quite objective about what's going on and the situations, and is analytical and thinks things through and comes up with solutions. Robot's not sappy. I'm not very sappy. I don't, like the emotionality of it all that much. So I'd really like to see the robot from Lost in Space come up with a blog. Be cool.
What fictional character do I wish was a blogger? Um, I have been watching an awful lot of Pretty Little Liars lately, and I feel like all of the characters from that show, if they all had a different blog, I would probably be obsessed with it. I can't stop watching this show. Um, Maybe Dexter from the show Dexter, just because I think he has a lot of interesting um, sort of inner dialogue on the show, and I'm always kind of wondering what's going on in his mind, even the other characters too, and how they interact. So that would be an interesting blog. Hmm. Maybe any of the Avengers, especially if they were like photo heavy. I think you could get some pretty good Instagram photos from the top of buildings and stuff if you could fly. So that would be a lot of fun. Any superhero, really. Yeah, that's about it.
What's the next biggest social thing in social media? So the biggest thing in social media, I tend to think that personalization is going to take a much larger role, not just in social media, but in all media. It's already very much a big part of our search experience, and it's how we browse, it's how we navigate through the web. I really think that personalization and getting things very hyper local is going to be a huge trend to follow in all kinds of technology, not just social media.
What is the next biggest thing in social media? To be honest with you, I have no idea, but as things progress and things develop, I'm going to keep on top of them because technology is what I love, so I love learning about new things, and I'm going to keep adapting and developing along with social media throughout the years, just so I can stay on top of things.
I think the next biggest trend in social media is going to be uh, better use of aggregators. I think aggregated content is really important because as we now have so many different social media platforms, um, it's it's time consuming. It's tricky to monitor them all. So there are aggregators out there, but I think that's that's what I'm banking my buck on. Aggregators, better aggregators.
What is the next biggest thing in social media? That's a hard one because you kind of never know what new social network people are going to go for or why. I think it would be nice if there weren't so many different ones and there was just sort of this collaboration, some kind of an app where you could do, the videos and the Instagramming and all this different stuff and just kind of like flip through tabs to get to the different types of media. Just because I feel like it's really, when I make a post, like take a photo with Instagram, I also want to post it to Facebook, to Twitter, to Tumblr, to Foursquare. I just kind of wish that there was like a hub for all of those that was not messy and well designed. Um, Maybe also like some kind of cool, um, because you can always like take pictures of stuff and take videos of stuff. Maybe like a tasting social network where it like gives you food and then you could taste it. That one would be good.
If my blog were a movie, what would it be? Oh, I love movies. My favorite movie is probably Amelie, so I'm going to say that Amelie is kind of like my blog. I wish my life could be so much like hers because I love that movie. I think my blog is a lot like her and her story. It's a little quirky, a little serious, a little funny, usually heartwarming, or at least I hope so. I like how unique it is, and I also like how it just makes you feel good, and I hope that my blog can do that too.
Well, I'm imagining that if my blog were a movie, it would be like the series version of The Office. Um, in Wilkes-Barre instead of Scranton, and I would never make those kind of mistakes. Not at all, like they do in The Office. It could still be humorous, but I wouldn't make those kind of mistakes.
If my blog were a movie, it would probably be How Does She Do It? It came out, I think, maybe about a year or two ago with Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's managing her job, her life, her kids, her husband, everything. And she somehow manages to juggle it all despite all of the setbacks that she has throughout the day and throughout her life. So I have many balls up in the air with NEPA BlogCon, NEPA blogs, school, my kids, my husband, a full-time job. So I would say I'd probably relate most to that movie.
If my blog were a movie, it would be the weirdest movie ever. I don't know. Maybe The Guild with Felicia Day and Will Wheaton, just because they're geeks. They play WoW. They're obsessed with role playing and video games. So a lot of my life is kind of centered around like games and gaming and LARPing and geek stuff like that. Um, maybe I don't know. This is really hard. Maybe Superbad. I could be like McLovin. That would be pretty awesome. Um, I feel like if it was a movie, it would definitely be a YouTube video, like My Drunk Kitchen or Daily Grace, just because that definitely fits my personality and I think my style a little bit better. So probably a YouTube video.
What's the worst social media disaster that I've seen? Well, I can't say that I was a fan of Kenneth Cole's Cairo tweets, but I think the biggest disaster, and this is pretty much ongoing, is when people automate their feeds through social media or they repost the same message across all the same channels and they really just try to automate the process. There's no interaction, it's not authentic, and unfortunately it leaves a hugely awful impression, and it's an epidemic. So I think that's probably the biggest disaster in all of social media is when people don't actually put any effort into being social. And I think if you're feeding the same stuff through multiple accounts, multiple brands, multiple pages, and you're not establishing your own voice, I think you're definitely doing it wrong. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I'm hoping it gets better over time and hopefully with education.
The worst social media disaster I've probably seen, um, and it's actually not just social media disaster, it's traditional media as well, was the whole Joe Paterno incident where they reported that he was dead when he was really still on life support. Um, I guess a football player on the team tweeted that he had passed away, and the media, certain parts of the media, took it and ran with it when he, in fact, was not dead. And Joe Paterno's son actually tweeted he was still on life support. So a lot of the media had red faces on that, I know. But that just goes to show you how quickly a rumor can spread via social media, and you really need to trust your sources and be very careful what you post without confirming those sources.
Social media disasters for me are a tie between the man who shot his wife and then posted the very unfortunate woman's corpse photo on Facebook, or Adria Richards, who tweeted about a joke that she perceived as sexualized at a conference, a tech conference, tweeted about it on Twitter and ended up losing her job. And the people who made the joke, the guy lost his job too. It's like bad stuff.
What's the worst social media disaster? Um, I can remember being on Twitter during the time that the Celeb Boutique, which is some like online store, had tweeted a sort of a really just joking tweet about the Aurora shooting. They had made it a comment about a dress they have, an Aurora style dress, because it was the trending topic. And they just obviously their social media contact just didn't know that what the Aurora shooting was or why that was trending. So it's unfortunate when, you know, a word that seems as harmless as Aurora, you know, could be misconstrued by someone doing your social media, and you don't do your homework and you make a tweet like that, you know. I guess it could have happened to anybody, but I would always try to double check what the trending topic was about, because a lot of trending topics on Twitter are related to disasters, situations that are sensitive that you need to take care of. I know that Chick-fil-A has kind of gotten the brunt of a lot of different social media campaigns, and just in general, they've just kind of been like harassed on social media for their stance on things. And I don't know if I would call it a disaster. I mean, they took a stance, and it blew up. The controversy was just off the charts. So they were definitely being berated on social media pretty consistently. And yeah, I think that's all I could think of.
What are we looking forward to most at this year's BlogCon? Well, I know for me, I can't wait. I'm really excited. It's only in a few days, so I'm super pumped. And my favorite thing about it every year is the people. I know it's only its second year, but I think the people really make it special. I love meeting new bloggers, hearing about all of their new and exciting projects, and the conversation is just fantastic. And there's so much buzzing about technology and communication in one room, so to me, it's like heaven.
What I'm looking forward to most at BlogCon this year is meeting the new awesome speakers that we have. We have a lot of different faces from last year, but a lot of talented individuals in different areas. So I'm highly excited to meet them in person and get to network with them. And I'm also excited for our networking session, which is new this year. So people kind of felt rushed and they didn't really have time to chat and meet other people. So this year we added the networking session, which will alleviate a lot of that. So, and also I think having the improv group Unorganized Business will be really awesome too, because I've never seen an improv group live in action besides, like Whose Line Is It Anyway? So I think it would be pretty cool to see that happen. I look forward to meeting you all. So see you tomorrow. Bye.
Well, what I really look forward to for BlogCon, NEPA BlogCon, is, warehousing, pulling all of that talent, all of that power, that new media power, into one place. Everyone in one place. That energy has to be immense. And frankly, since I'm introverted, I'm going to have to sleep a long time to recover. But it'll totally be worth it.
What am I most looking forward to at BlogCon this year? I'm really excited to meet the local bloggers in this area, because I feel like blogging in Northeast PA is just, few and far between. Not a lot of people do it. So I'm looking forward to meeting the people behind the blogs that I know about and learning about any new ones that I don't know about. I'm looking forward to meeting up with people who have similar blogs to mine. I would love to know if there's any other like geek girl lifestyle type bloggers out there. And I'm just looking forward to having fun and the exchange of ideas and the excitement that is going to be in the building when everyone comes in and they're just all excited and all pumped up about it, and everyone's had too much coffee and we're just like, oh my God, BlogCon! And it's going to be awesome. So I am very much looking forward to just connecting with people away from the computer screen in real life and getting to talk to them face to face.